Okay, so we were looking at MPEG, etc. So this MPEG, JPEG, all these are compression techniques. They reduce the data rate. So actually, technically, it is called source code. How to effectively present the data with the minimum by minimizing the data rate. So you uh, reduce the redundancy, you reduce the data rate so that the bandwidth used is less. So that is source coding. As much as how much it is required for eye to see or for a ear to hear, only that much details need to be there. And by using some techniques, we will reduce the bit rate. So that is source code. Then we will scramble the data so that nearby data is not affected uh, by the same noise. So if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that up to 100, you will send 1, then maybe 25, then 59. And like that, when you scramble, the data, nearby data is not affected. And then you do channel code. Channel coding is opposite of source coding. You are adding bits. When you add bits, what is the advantage you gain? You are able to recover from errors. You are adding error correction capability. So channel coding add bits, so bit rate becomes more. But that is needed to have sufficient performance at the receiver. You have to overcome errors which are occurring in the channel. Now, after these many steps, the data stream is ready for modulating a carrier. Ultimately, you have a microwave carrier over which you have to modulate this data. We have digital data. So we are considering modulation by digital signal. So that is this part, modulation. What are the modulation on digital data? Once you have source coded it, scrambled it, and channel coded it, you are doing modulation. Now, the different medium used for TV communication, digital TV communication. One is it could be satellite. You have a dish on your house, you receive as a satellite, or it could be a cable or even telephone network, etc. You have microwave tower links. So in between we are seeing repeaters in microwave. So terrestrial network also you have apart from cable. Cable is through guided media, and terrestrial network is unguided media through microwave towers. Now, depending on medium, so uh, satellite medium is there, cable and terrestrial. We will refer to it as S, C, and T, satellite, cable, and terrestrial. So DVB-S, DVB-C. DVB means digital video broadcasting. It could be satellite, it could be cable, or it could be terrestrial, DVB-T. Now, depending on the medium, now the bandwidth is different because let us see how SNR and echoes, how those are some technical considerations to be considered depending on the medium. So signals from satellite. So satellite, when you have a reception using a DVB-T mechanism, which is a digital video broadcasting satellite, the signals received are weak but stable. They originate from low power transmitter located 36,000 kilometers. So signals are weak means the SNR is low. SNR is very low. So that is the nature of signals. It depends on the medium. Now consider a cable network. It is strong and stable because it's a guided medium. Consider a terrestrial DVB-T. Now the condition will vary because of the unguided media. Because if it is especially mobile reception, there will be a lot of signals. Signals could be added It could be additive or subtractive in nature. So there could be variations in this DVB-T, and this DVB-C to have a strong SNR. So how is the will be the SNR for these three digital TV transmission techniques? For satellite reception, the SNR is signal to noise ratio. So we are not concerned how we measure the signal and how we measure the signal power. It's actually signal power to noise power, SNR. Sometimes the term carrier to noise ratio is also used, CNR. Need not be signal. We are having a carrier on which you are modulating. Practical reasons, this CNR may be used. So SNR and CNR. So in microwave, we may come across the term carrier to noise ratio as well. So this SNR can be very small, 10 dB or less. So because this satellite reception is from a considerable distance, but hardly suffers from echoes. Hardly suffers from echoes. In cable reception, SNR is quite strong because this is a guided media, more than 30 dB, and can be affected by echoes due to impedance mismatches in network. So there is a possibility of echoes because of impedance mismatches in cable reception. However, SNR is strong. Here SNR is low, but there are no echoes. And terrestrial reception, the conditions are more difficult, especially with mobile reception. With very simple antenna is required. So variable echoes due to multi-path, because of the unguided nature, there could be multiple copies of the same signal, reflected or refracted or diffracted from the surrounding objects. Interference. So due to variable echoes, due to multipath, interference, important signal level variation. So signal level variation will occur in terrestrial reception. So based on these three technical consideration for these three medium, we have different modulations. So the modulation techniques are different for DVB-S, DVB-C, and DVB-T. Now for satellite, the bandwidth for used for a satellite is different from that for a cable or terrestrial transmission, because in satellite the bandwidth is high because of the need to use FM. Okay, initially we had analog TV program and then we had digital. So the analog TV was frequency modulated because of this long distance transmission. FM was necessary for satellite communication even when analog TV was there. So actually this bandwidth is only this much, 6 to 8 megahertz and thousand carriers, and so bandwidth had to be increased because of the need for FM for the satellite communication. So the bandwidth is in this range for satellite. So different bandwidth I have just mentioned. Depending on the medium, the bandwidth is different. So we have to consider all the technical consideration like SNR, echoes. Then the modulation had to be FM in this analog because of this long distance transmission. And in cable, we could have AM, so the bandwidth was less. Vestigial sideband means one full sideband AM and a portion of the other sideband. So the bandwidth is 6 to 7 or 8, because the various systems occurs in various parts. In United States it was 6 or 7 or 8 in Europe. So many transmission techniques developed, TV systems developed in Europe, in US, Japan, all over different, Russia, all over different. So there are many variations in this. However, it is baseband. This is limited to 6 up to 8 megahertz. As for satellite, we have FM. And digital transmission, when it started, it had to use the same channel width. So later on, digital transmission came. So these were fixed. The bands and channel widths were fixed. So they had to use the same channel width. So they had to coexist with analog. They put for analog. So the digital transmission had to coexist with analog and be compatible with existing transmission and distribution equipment. There are already deployed existing transmission and distribution equipment, so it had to coexist with this. So this same bandwidth has to be used, and this they have to either it could be analog or digital. So they have to coexist with the existing transmission and distribution equipment. So we are looking at the modulation technique now. So modulation of carrier by digital signal. We'll just look at some basics. Digital signals, these are bits. They are rectangular pulses representing 0 or 1. All we whatever is be the information, whatever be the data, whether it is text or voice or speech or music or image or video, ultimately you transmit only zeros and ones, which are rectangular pulses. And depending on uh, channel characteristics, many bits combine to form symbols to increase spectral efficiency. So here we have uh, information. They are represented as zeros and ones. They are bits. We combine many bits to form a symbol. So one symbol may carry maybe 2 bits or 4 bits or 3 bits or 5 bits. So that symbol rate is different from bit rate. So in one symbol, when you can carry more bits, you are increasing the utilization of bandwidth. So it increases the spectral efficiency, of the spectrum. So this is the symbol. This is different from bits. Bits are combined to form symbols. Now, without filter, frequency spectrum of digital signal is theoretically infinite. Because when you have a 0 and 1, you have a flat top and vertical edges. So flat top means 0 frequency and vertical edges means infinite frequency. So you need theoretically infinite bandwidth to transmit such a signal. But we limit the bandwidth by filter. So that we need only transmit uh, using lower uh, data rate, lower bandwidth. So we want to limit the bandwidth, so you use filter. So what happens is when you limit a signal in time, it will spread in frequency. It will spread in time. So bandwidth limiting means you are limiting in frequency. So bandwidth limiting of signal results in increase of temporal response. So in time domain, it will get increased. It will get spread in time domain. When you filter in the signal gets increased in time domain. So when a signal is spreading in time domain, it will result in overlapping between successive symbols, and it is called inter-symbol interference. So when you are attempting to limit in frequency domain, the signal will spread in time domain, and which will result in overlapping of successive symbols called inter-symbol interference or ISI. Now, to uh, overcome this ISI, what do you do is the filters, a particular filter is called raised cosine filter. In this, such a filter, temporal response presents zeros at times which are multiples of symbol period. The multiples of the symbol period is denoted by capital T, 2T, 3T, etc. as the multiples. And at these multiples of symbol period, the temporal response will pass through 0. So such a filter, so the response of the filter should be such that it will pass through zeros at times which are multiples of symbol period. So raised cosine filter is such a filter. Most commonly used filter is raised cosine filter or simply a Nyquist filter. To optimize bandwidth occupation, and SNR, filtering is shared equally between transmitter and receiver. So you have a transmitter and you have a receiver. So you have a square root raised cosine filter at the transmitter as well as at the receiver, so that filtering is shared between transmitter and receiver. So SRRC pulse, square root raised cosine filter. And this SRRC pulse is characterized by a roll-off factor. I will know that this roll-off factor, this so there is a roll-off factor. So bandwidth depends on this roll-off factor. So you can design filters with various roll-off factors alpha. So this is the symbol period and this is the roll-off factor and this is the bandwidth. So bandwidth is can be changed by this roll-off factor, and roll-off factor also defines the steepness of the filter. So if you look at this temporal response, so what happens basically is you have a symbol here at this instant. You are sampling at this instant. So this signal is maximum. So this pulse is maximum. At a distance of 1t, you will have another pulse. So you will be sampling that pulse. Next pulse. So this is the first pulse. You are sampling it at 0. At 1t, you are sampling the next pulse, which will be presented to this receiver. At that time, the first pulse should pass through 0. And at 2t, at 2t you will have the third pulse. That time you will be sampling third pulse, the first pulse as well as the second pulse will pass through a 0. And at the next 3t you will have the fourth pulse, and at that time the previous three pulses should pass through 0. So accordingly, in the time domain it should pass through 0, and the steepness how it passes is defined by roll-off factor, which is 0.2 here. So it is 0.35 here. 0.2 means it is steep, too much steep, and 0.35 is less steep. So when it is very high steepness, the sampling has to be accurate. The synchronization in sampling, a little drift will lead to error. So it can vary at one. This is one. For mathematically, the response is 0 for this 0.5 1 plus alpha is t time. So here we have a temporal response. So t between this and t between this we have 0. And in between 1 and in between 0, you have a variation. This is how we define this pulse. So temporal response. So we have uh, limiting in frequency to save the bandwidth. This will create spreading in time domain, and it will cause ISI. And to overcome ISI, we should ensure that the pulses should pass through zeros at multiples of symbol period. So the temporal response, presence of zeros at multiples of symbol period reduces ISI to minimum. Signal sampled at these instants with increasing accuracy as roll-off decreases. So when roll-off decreases, the accuracy increases. However, the system will be more subject to that sampling. Sampling has to be very accurate. We have to design hardware accordingly. The error should be minimum. Okay, that is some general concept regarding digital signal. I will just explain one or two slides and stop for today. And one concept is quadrature modulation. ASK. ASK means amplitude shift key, and FSK is frequency shift key. So amplitude shift key means you have a high amplitude for and a low amplitude. And FSK, you have a high amplitude and one frequency and another frequency in different symbol duration and different bit rates, different bit speed. Now in QAM, what you do is here the spectral efficiency is low. So one bit for one you have a frequency, zero you have another frequency. Here one you have one amplitude, zero you have another amplitude in amplitude zero. The frequency shifting, you have a different frequencies for one and so they have low spectral efficiency. When you do quadrature modulation, you are increasing the efficiency. You are sending 2 bits during one duration. So how you do it? You transmit two independent analog signals on one carrier. So you have a carrier. Input symbols are coded on n bits, converted into two signals. I is in phase and 2 is quadrature phase, and n by 2 bits they are split. N by 2 bits here and n by 2 bits, and they are combined and they are sent to the channel. And here you are with the receiver, you have demodulation. So this is quadrature modulation. So you cannot have this type of modulation which offers only lower bit rate. Here you are carrying more bit rate. So n by 2 bits in this and n by 2 bits in this, you are splitting the bits and accordingly you have more spectral efficiency. So modulation by digital signals. So if there are 2 bits per symbol, in I and Q there will be 1 bit, n by 2. If there are 4 bits per symbol, in I and Q you get transmit 2 bits. Likewise, so 8 bits per symbol means in I and Q you are 4 bits and each half n by 2 here, n by 2 you are per bit. So this is there since analog streams itself. Signal modulates output of a local oscillator. Signal modulates output of a local oscillator, and that is I signal, and two signal modulates another output in quadrature with the pulse. So this is in quadrature, and the other half bits will modulate this in quadrature. So that is this quadrature modulation. The result of this process can be represented like this. So this is constellation of QPSK. So 2 bits in each. So the combination of 2 bits and in the IQ space which represents various values I and Q and I and Q can take. Likewise, in modems, it could have 64 QAM modulation. So one of these would be transmitted at a time. So there are 16 each here in each quadrant, which means 64. 64 means 2 raised to 6. So you are sending 6 bits, 3 bits in I and 3 bits in Q. So this is 4 bits. 4 bits you are transmitting. 3 bits you are transmitting. 3 bits in 64 crowd. So you have 6 bits, 2 raised to 6, and you are transmitting 3 bits, half the bits in each channel. So this is a representation of constellation, and generally what you can say, find out is there is a parameter called bit error rate, and in the bit error rate, if you plot again signal to noise ratio, the lower order modulation scheme, so 4 QAM, 16 QAM, 32 QAM, 64 QAM. So you take a SNR here 12. Suppose the received signal noise has an SNR of 12 dB. Then here the bit error rate is 0.0001 less than that. Here the bit error rate in 16 QAM is 0.01 more than that, and for 32 QAM it is more, and for 64 QAM it is less. So the error is more when you are having higher constellation. So higher constellation means you are carrying more bits in a symbol, but higher the constellation, the difference between 2 points, so that if some noise is here, this can be transmitted at the transmitter and this can be received at the receiver. If half this difference of signal, that much of noise is added to this bit, this can be received as this bit. So that is the effect of noise. So actually we are having only 4 dots, but because of the noise, this what is transmitted here may be received here. So what is, if noise is too high, what is transmitted here can come here. So when the constellation size increases with a less amplitude of noise, this can be transmitted and this can be received. So the error is more. So when the constellation size increases, you are having a modem which is having 64 QAM, will have more spectral efficiency. However, the error will be more. So you have to devise suitable algorithms, etc., so that you can overcome all these things. So one such thing is equalization. So this is a echoes in a cable. You are doing echo equalization, or you are sending some pilot symbols. You are studying the channel. You are studying the how is the response of the channel by sending some prior, or in at regular intervals you are sending some known symbols, and you are knowing the response at the receiver, and correspondingly you are generating filters or systems, a transfer function which will nullify the effect of this. By studying the effects on a pilot carrier, you can do equalization, inverse. So all these are these basic things, and we will come to the actual modulation and